Afternoon, and my name is Faith Omodara from the Finance Business Partners, and I would be your host for today's session. Miss Joy Abara specializes in mass for major organizations. She has extensive experience leading high impact projects in recruitment and selection, marketing and communications, as well as stakeholder and program management. Joy is passionate about helping individuals discover and harness their unique talent, which is why she's dedicated to helping people find their brilliance. In addition to her professional pursuits, she enjoys writing. Currently, Joy is the head of programs at Enterprise NGR. She holds a Bachelor in International Law and Diplomacy from Babcock University and has earned certifications from other prestigious institutions. Please, if we are not too busy, can we put our ends together or our virtual ends together as we make welcome Joy Abara. Thank you very much, Ma, for this opportunity to learn from you this afternoon.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's actually not hot here where I am. It's quite chilly and cold. It rained very heavily yesterday night, and it's been very chilly weather. Please excuse the noise in my background. I mean, I think that just signifies that NEPA has got the light or something. Please confirm that you can hear me now. Now that is out of the way. Am I clear?
Yes.
Am I audible? Great.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I hope we're doing well. I hope that please don't get distracted by my background. I mean, Nigeria is happening, and I hope that you can understand. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're having a great day so far. My name is Joy Abara, as Faith has rightly introduced myself, and I currently work as head of programs at Enterprise NGR, which I'll be taking us through very quickly. If you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen just to take us through the conversation today. I am particularly excited about this conversation, first because one of my favorite things to do is really to meet young people and speak with them, understand their career needs and ambition, and just basically talk about the future. It's just one of the things that I really love to do with Nigerian young talents. And I'm particularly excited about this one because I'm meeting a diverse audience, I believe, people who come from different academic backgrounds and walks of life. So I hope that we're able to connect today and just get a better understanding of what we do at Enterprise NGR, and more specifically the Youth of Enterprise Internship Program. But before I start, I'm going to talk about the fact that I'm joined by my colleagues, JC Tuba and Timmy Lane, who work in the same group as me. And so we're all here on this call, and we're going to hopefully have a good time together. So yeah, I think it's a good time to really just introduce ourselves before we get into the business of the day. So if you don't mind, I'd like each one of you to please introduce yourself using an emoji in the chat, okay? You can choose an emoji that represents your hobbies, your interests, your personality, and please let us know where you are joining the call from. So I'm going to be looking up for responses as they come. So please let's engage and let me know where you are joining from. Are people saying anything? Or is it just me who can't see? Oh, okay. Someone is joining from Benin City, Enugu. Interesting. Please let's keep it coming. I'm hoping that we have more people show up here because we're quite expectant for the engagements that we will have with this community. So please call your friends, call your family members, call your loved ones, every person who you think should be on this call. Please reach out to them so we can have a good time, right? And we've had a very long weekday, and it's the weekend. And yes, even though this is about work and career, it's still very chilled and very futuristic. I'm hoping that we're able to have a good time. So please reach out to your people and ask them to join. Okay, do we have more engagements? Let me see what we have there. Okay. Joining from Osun, Lagos. Shout out to Lagos people, Osun State as well. People are still trying to confirm. Are you, in case you think you're not sure where you're joining from, that's okay. You can as well just ask the person that is in your house to confirm the state that you're in. Okay, but I think that's that with it. I'm just going to get right into the meat of today, and getting to why we're having this conversation. Just as Faith has introduced, my name is Joy Abara, and I call myself a development practitioner, one who leads international development programs, programs that are impactful, programs that are impact-driven and purpose-driven. Over the past 4 years, I've spent my time developing and cultivating talents, young Nigerian talents particularly, and just basically helping them navigate their path and discover their leadership. I am passionate about helping people and individuals discover their own unique capacities. Like I said, I like to have conversations with young, ambitious talents. I am one of the believers who really believe that Nigeria has one of the most talented people in the country, in the world. As a matter of fact, I think that we have very thriving young, exceptional talents whose potential we haven't even started to harness, fully. I hold the bachelor's degree in international law and diplomacy from Babcock University. Shout outs to all the Babcockites in case we have anybody here. And of course, I've earned a few certifications, just to upskill, and get myself more in tune with the realities of work. And currently, I serve as the head of programs at Enterprise NGR. So that's about me in a nutshell. You might get to know about me much later, but that's what you should need to know for now. Again, I'd like to confirm that you can hear me. I don't want to feel like I'm talking alone and I'm just here, speaking to myself. So if you can confirm that you can hear me, that would be great.
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the confirmation. So I'm just going to get right back into the presentation. Give me a minute, please. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so today what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be discussing an opportunity that we think is useful for this community. I got to learn about this community through one of your founders, George, who reached out, and you have quite a very responsible founder, I must say, who is looking out for your best interest and who is trying to find opportunities that you can latch onto. And I hope that you appreciate that and that you're able to give this session the time that it deserves. And so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Youth of Enterprise Internship Program. Everything that you need to know basically as a young person, as a young career-driven person who is looking out for the next phase of your career. You're trying to figure out your time, you're trying to figure out what opportunities are out there for you that aligns with your skills, your career interests, or you're just trying to get your leg in the corporate world. Anyways, this is the right place for you, and which is why, like I said, it's very important for you to reach out to your friends. Don't be selfish. Talk to people and have them be part of this. You don't want your friends to miss this, okay? Moving on, I would like to get into the meat of our conversation today, but I think it's important for me to weigh our thoughts and opinion on something that I'm sure many of us would have a story about, would have a story to tell about what our biggest hurdle have been with pursuing our dream career and how did you overcome it. I'm even going to start first, and I'm going to talk about my early days as a young, I wasn't even a graduate. I was actually an undergraduate who at the time was very big on internship. I did not joke with interning. And so every time during the whole day, I was always seeking one opportunity here and there to work. And so I didn't know anybody. It was just me doing my own work of going to different organizations. I would do a mapping of different organizations that I wanted to work at and would do routine visits. And one of those days I went into this organization just to make an effort to see somebody, perhaps the HR who I could introduce myself to and hopefully secure a job, and I didn't even mind working for free at the time because I knew that as an undergraduate, sometimes employers don't want to pay you. I just wanted a place where I could learn and make good use of my time. But guess what? I was met with the biggest surprise of my life. I was held back by the security who was hell-bent on not allowing me to get into the door. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but this person, I guess, he thought he was doing his job, had no empathy whatsoever, or even tried to listen to my story, and literally told me to leave. And so I left that day, obviously very sad and disappointed, but it didn't stop me. I eventually did find an internship opportunity around that phase of my holiday, but it just wasn't at that place. And so that's one thing, that's one hurdle I would say is fact I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody, but I still made an attempt to try to find a job for myself so that I could learn. But then I was met by somebody who just didn't understand my ambition and so bounced me. So that is my own story. I'm curious to know what your story is. Again, please let's engage in the chat. I'd like to see what many of us have been through. And please let's not front for ourselves. Let's say it as it is. Feel free to use the mic if you have a story to share. I'm genuinely curious to know.
Okay. So Joy, I have like a story. So sometimes in I think in my 200 level, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
So sometimes in my 200 level, there was this internship opportunity. Like everybody was talking about internship, so I applied for the internship, and it was interviews. Like I scaled through to the interview session, and this lady asked me a question. Okay, I should tell her about the organization I'm trying to apply to, and I didn't even know the full meaning of the name. I just know that everybody was talking about this particular internship, and I just applied for it. Then it was a very embarrassing moment for me, and I believe that was one of the like experiences I had that kind of really shaped my consecutive like job applications or internship application process, because it made me understand that if you're applying for something, beyond the excitement of, okay, let me quickly apply for this thing, take your time to learn more about the organization, their structure, possibly their board of management as well, so that it would not like be caught off guard. Yes.
That's very, very interesting. Thank you very much, Faith, for sharing. I definitely agree with you that we need to do our own due diligence when we're applying. And I think that at the end of the day, what it does show is that it shows effort. And I think effort is something that should, to an extent, be applauded. It shows ambition, more than anything. And I'm sure that you've been able to just learn from that experience. And that was because you took a step. Thank you, for your story. I'm hoping that a lot of us don't have the kind of story that I did, and I'm hoping that many of us have it all good and well. But somebody here in the chat says, I'm currently on the search for internship and it's been hectic. Trust me, we understand what that is. We understand the challenges that truly comes with trying to get yourself a job, particularly in a place like Nigeria. And so I'm going to be, just reading off a few statistics, some sad statistics that, would help you understand why our program exists, why the Youth of Enterprise Internship Program has even come, to be. And so, give me a second. And so, we're all very much aware of the fact that Nigeria is one of the most populous nations in the world. I think that we are top three right now, with us having over 220 million people, making it and making it one of the most populous countries in the world. Which, when you think about it, is a blessing, but could also be a curse. Could be a curse if we're not able to utilize this human capital that we have and the workforce that we have to our advantage. It could be a curse when things aren't put in place to empower people who really are at the center of economic growth. And so, yeah, that is the situation with Nigeria. Out of that population of over 220 million, 70% make up the youthful population. Nigeria is a very youthful population, like I said, which is also an advantage. 70% are under the age of 30, which, when you think about that, you should always start imagining the opportunities, the boundless opportunities that lies, with a country having that type of work-ready workforce, people who are agile, people who have, the skill in an ideal world, people who are ready and sharp, to put in the energy that is required to drive a sustainable economy. However, with this advantage and resource that we have in terms of our human capital, there lies a stark reality with youth unemployment in Nigeria. The rate of youth unemployment in Nigeria has become a concern. In 2023, the second quarter alone, youth unemployment surged to 7.2%, and this is data from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. In the first quarter of 2023, we had 12.2% of Nigerian youths who were underemployed, and these are people who have skills, they have the qualifications, but are taking on jobs that don't match their capacity. As a matter of fact, they shouldn't be doing those types of jobs. So it's almost like you seeing a graduate taking up a security role, or you seeing a graduate serving at a restaurant. Those are jobs that typically are for unskilled labor, but you have those who are skilled taking up those types of jobs. This is the reality of the average Nigerian youth. Speaking of qualifications, Nigerian Graduate Report of 2018 revealed that when only 25% of graduates possess the skills that meet employer expectations, which is also very sad. As much as we complain about not having enough employment opportunities, those who are graduates, those who come out of universities, don't even have the required skill that positions them for success in the workplace or allows for them to even get these employment opportunities, which is a problem in itself. And what makes all of this even more sad and quite troubling is the fact that the foundation for the development of our human capital, which is education, is in a sham. Nigeria happens to have the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. What does that tell you? Is that our future leaders, the future of tomorrow, are not getting the right education that they need. And so this definitely just depicts many challenges and problems from different angles. And so you see that the problem is systemic, and as such needs to be approached and needs to be solved from multiple places. And so this really lays the foundation for why the Youth of Enterprise Internship Program exists. The YOE program, Youth of Enterprise for short, recognizes the vast amount of talent that exists in Nigeria, recognizes the fact that Nigeria has a brimming population with lots of potential, and so is poised to ensure that these population's potentials are properly harnessed. We recognize the challenge that exists with young people getting a job, which is why I asked in the beginning, tell me about your job struggles. I'm sure many of us are probably shy to share, but we have a number of people who have had it really tough trying to even just get a job, trying to even just get an opportunity. And sometimes it's not because we do not have the skills. Sometimes it's not because we are incompetent. Sometimes it's because we don't have the right network. Unfortunately, sometimes it's because we did not have the right education, that allows for us to secure those opportunities. Or sometimes we're just not even exposed. We are in locations that are far away from where the opportunities are. And so there are many, many problems here and there that come out as a result and sort of leads to youth unemployment. And so what the Youth of Enterprise Internship Program is about is that we are an initiative and a program that is set out to solve and drastically reduce youth unemployment crisis in Nigeria. Our approach is that we develop these talents with skills, we mentor them, and we provide access to employment opportunities, regardless of who their parents are, regardless of who their father knows, regardless of who the location where they reside. Our mission is to ensure that opportunities like jobs are democratized, regardless of where you are. And so we want a situation where a candidate lives in Zamfara, but can access an employment opportunity where he is at. And so that gives you just a general overview and idea of the work that we do at YOE. Okay. Now our program structure is such that we operate an internship program. So those who are recruited and trained go through what we call a 6-month rigorous internship program where they get matched and placed with an employer. Right? And this program is only open to those who meet our criteria, which is the fact that you have to be between the ages of 18 to 26. You have to have graduated from the university, completed your NYSC, have a minimum of second-class lower, with a few years of experience, not more than 5 years. That's the basic eligibility criteria. So unfortunately, if you don't meet this, you will not be able to scale through our application. Our application, by the way, happens virtually. It's a virtual platform. You don't need to be at any physical location to register. You don't need to pay a fee to subscribe or to get a code or whatnot. What you need is your internet access, your laptop, and you're able to apply for this opportunity. Okay. What you want to remember, all that I said, is that the YE program offers a 6-month internship program to competent, qualified people. Okay, I have to stress the fact that you need to be qualified and competent. You need to be young, smart Nigerian. There are no cutting corners with our process. Our process is quite rigorous, and so you need to be able to come in with a good amount of academic capacity to scale through. That's just the reality. It is hybrid in the sense that your application and your training happens virtually through a platform, a customized platform that we develop, and that you have access to. So we have a learning management system where you get registered on, you're able to take your courses there, and you're able to, and you get registered, you take your courses. At the point where you get placed with your employers, you then are either working full-time, or you're working remotely, or you're working on a hybrid basis, depending on the policy and the operations of the organization that you have been placed in. So this, in a nutshell, is what YOE represent and the structure so far. So what does the typical life of an intern look like? What stages would an intern need to go through as they vie for this opportunity? There's a sound in the background. I would really appreciate if that sound is muted. I would really like to have less distractions. Thank you. So now, let's talk about your journey. Now, I imagine that a lot of you here are prospects seeking employment opportunities. By the way, how many of us are actually seeking an opportunity? I would like to know. So you could just put your hands up in the chat. Let me know that I'm talking to the right audience. Very important. We just have one person, Fatai and Zainab, but the only job seekers here. Balogun, I'm going to carry my program and go if I don't have the right people. So please let me know. Okay. Oh, wow, we have quite a number of job seekers here. You really don't want me to leave. Don't worry, I'm going to stay. Okay, so okay, so yes, I see you. I see you, and thank you for responding and raising up your hands. I'm going to get back to what I was saying. Please confirm that you can see my screen. If you could just say yes, I would appreciate that. Can
Yes.
someone see my screen? You can?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So as back to where I stopped. This is the journey of a typical YOE intern. YOE called Youth of Enterprise. Okay, so you want to get familiar with what that abbreviation means. Like I said, your first point of interaction with us happens virtually. Application opens up, you go to the platform, you register, you set up your profile, you give us information about who you are, you answer the questions correctly, and ensure that your responses truly represent your identity. Because if it doesn't, we would find out one way or the other through what we call a verification check. We verify that your information is correct. And you might not know how I'm not going to share how we do that. But of course, with the information that you provide, we would check and ensure that your background is covered and that you're indeed telling us the right information about you. After that is done, you submit your application. You then proceed to taking a test. Again, this test is conducted virtually. You don't have to be in any physical location to take it. There are two different stages of your assessment. There's one that is called the pre-test. The pre-test comprises of a set of about 15 questions or so, where that you get to answer. No, not 15 questions. About 15 questions, yes. And then you get to answer those questions. Questions are pretty much based, problem-solving based, literacy, numeracy based. And this pretest basically is set up to give you an idea of what your assessment would look like for your next stage of your application. Now, you are allowed to take this pretest twice. It is mandatory that you pass to proceed to the next assessment stage, which is called the graduate aptitude test. Okay, and so the pass mark is 50. If you're not able to meet 50, unfortunately, you would have to take the test again. And if you don't meet up with the cutoff mark, then that's the end for you with your application process. I think it's fair enough that we're able to give people a second chance. You know, after familiarizing yourself with the kinds of questions, you get a chance to take it again. And many people have been able to take advantage of that opportunity to scale through the application itself. Some people smash their scores one time. You know, we do have cases like that. Now, those who scale through the pretest are then invited to schedule for their GAT. GAT is called a graduate aptitude test, which is another layer of assessment and exam. Okay. Now, what this does is we also have a list of questions to answer. Similarly, problem solving, numericals, logical, different types of questions, basically. Now, what this assessment does is that it really just helps us check your IQ, your ability to think, your ability to solve problems. And on average, these are the kinds of questions that you find when you're trying to apply to any of these graduate training programs, right? And so if you're actually able to scale through our program, you really have a shot at other types of graduate employer training. And I have to say that this is not the easiest of exams. It is quite rigorous. We have a good number of people who fall short and are not able to scale through because they're not able to meet up with the benchmark of 50 at this stage. Similarly, like I said, with the graduate aptitude test, you have the chance to take it twice. So if you fail the first time, you can take it again. Aren't we nice people? I'd like to think that we're very nice people. We only get two chances. Some people might get a second chance. For those who are successful with the test, we invite you to what we call an orientation program. But before that, you're of course admitted, you're given an admission letter, and you're verified again, and you're then allowed to proceed to take your orientation. Now, orientation is a 3-week training where you now start to learn that equips you with information and skills, soft skills that truly prepares you for the workplace. You know, we have a very rich and immersive curriculum that exposes you to different types of knowledge. And I'm going to get there very quickly, but this is the rundown of what orientation looks like. Now, after that, you get matched and placed. After your 3 weeks orientation, we match you to an employer. Okay. And I have to say that Enterprise NGR works similarly with YOE, works in collaboration with organizations that are within the financial and professional services sector and beyond. And so we have these organizations who are partners who provide internship opportunities for our interns. Okay, so chances are these are the guys that you're going to be working with. These are the guys you're going to be getting placed, organizations you're going to be getting placed in, should you make it into the program. I'm going to share what those organizations are subsequently as we go forward. Now, you're done with your internship, you've been placed, you've completed 6 months. What happens after that? You get inducted into our alumni community. We try to ensure that we're providing continuous support and learning for our alumni, and that we're also providing continuous opportunities there. You know, so we encourage that our alumni stay in touch and they continue to connect, you know, with the network. So pretty much this is the journey of what an average YOE intern looks like. Now we have the orientation program. I'm going to speak to that in detail, like I have hinted. You know, I mentioned the orientation program is for 3 weeks, and then there you get to learn. Now you have access to what we call your learning management system. You have your login details. You sign up there at 8 o'clock or at the very latest, because if you don't, we have a point system that basically scores you according to your ability to meet certain rules and obligations. Okay, someone says they can't see my screen. Please confirm if it's from my end or if it's from you. Please confirm. Is this a general problem?
Hello, Joy. I also can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen. Oh, should have called my attention to that since. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to share. Apologies for that. Okay, so please confirm that you can see my screen now.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, great. Okay, so so this is where I was coming from. Took you through the journey of what our interns roadmap is. Like I said, internship, testing, orientation, matching and placement, and then you become part of the alumni community. I hope we remember everything that I've said even without seeing the screen. Okay, but if you have questions, get them ready so that I can take them towards the end of the presentation. And I'm drilling down to what orientation is. You remember I mentioned the orientation program is for 3 weeks, and that you have access to your learning management system. Remember I said you don't have to be at a physical location to learn or to apply for our program. Once you scale through, once you meet our criteria and you pass our test, you have access to our learning management system where you can take your courses, your orientation courses for 3 weeks, and even your post-orientation courses as well. There are courses that you take even after the 3 weeks orientation before you are placed. You know, there are courses that you take even as you start working. There's continuous learning that's happening once you get matched and placed with your employer. These are just some of the few courses that you start to learn when you come into our program. You get to understand the world of work. You get to learn critical thinking and decision-making skills, communication, initiative and problem-solving skills, teamwork, collaboration, planning, organizing, wellness and mindfulness, self-management, etc. I mean, there's so many skills that you learn how to get an interview done. You learn how to manage your time. So many of these very useful skills actually that sets you up, at least, particularly for those who are have never gained any work experience. This is foundational. This exposes you to just the right information that you need to make a good impression with your employers. Okay. Again, I spoke to learning management system. This is, again, like I said, accessible to those who scaled through our process, passed our tests, met up with our verification benchmark, got matched, got placed, region their placement organization. Everybody, every of this category of people have access to this platform. This was developed locally, and this platform basically helps us manage data, helps us stay in touch with you. It is on this platform that we also provide feedback. We give feedback about your experience. Now, at the point where you get placed, we don't just leave you to go and just, continue to do your own life in isolation. What we do is, someone says they can't see my screen again. Is that correct?
No, I can see it.
Sorry? Okay.
I can see your screen.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And then, yeah. So what we do basically is that we also stay in touch with you, and we want you to stay in touch with us. We put you in what we call a community group, WhatsApp, Telegram, where you get to share a lot of your experiences, and same with your colleagues, they share their experiences. Now, you give feedback on a weekly basis about your work experience. Weekly feedback is compulsory because that, first of all, it allows us to even know that you're still in the program. Now, you're not the only person who is giving the feedback. Your employers are also giving feedback about you. So what you want to ensure that you're doing is that you're making a good impression, is that you're putting your best foot forward, and you're making us proud. You're making our employers trust our process and trust our program even the more. You also have a responsibility to protect this brand, okay? So that is basically that with this learning platform. I'm going to move on very quickly to the next. Yes, so our program is quite virtual for the most part, or hybrid as case may be. Virtual, that is from the recruitment, like I said, recruitment phase to the placement, to the training, and then when you get placed, you work full time. Most of the time you're working fully in person. But like I said, some employers may have different policies and operations that will require to either work hybrid or work remotely. Now, one of the ways that we keep tabs and ensure that you're actually fulfilling your obligation is through our own point system. Okay, so now we award points based on your capacity to fulfill certain obligations. So for instance, during your orientation, all candidates or interns are expected to log in to their LMS between 8 to 9 a.m. If you log in after 8 o'clock, you do not get a point. Now, all of these points are compiled, and they make up a score, a congruent score that you pretty much get towards the end of your program. And this score is used to determine your capacity to get a recommendation letter from us, or helps determine, let us know if you even completed the program. And so this is how we monitor, this is how we evaluate performance and evaluate activities that are being done. So bear in mind that even when you come on the program, you're just not permitted to do however you want. There are obligations, there are guidelines that are important for our interns to follow. There's also what we call the post-orientation activity. Post-orientation activities begin after your 3 weeks program. So post-orientation activity, typically you begin when you start working with your employer. So there are still courses that you still have to take. So it's important that you take them. There's a project presentation where you team up with a group of people and you create a solution to a problem in your immediate community, right? And you make a presentation. Now, this is one of the very interesting activities that has really exposed our interns to problem solving skills. You know, they get to initiate solutions that are well thought of, that, you know, affects their environment. And many times it gets awarded. You know, we have our awards for the best presentations, top 3, top 4, top 5 presentations. Sometimes they get monetary awards, sometimes they get some very valuable awards, basically, that change their lives. So that's just something that you want to you know, take note of. Now, yeah, so to work placement, like I mentioned, interns are matched and placed with employers to take on a 6-month internship program. Okay, and like I mentioned, you're being expected to give weekly feedback, and the same thing, the employer to give the feedback, not on a weekly basis, but they give a feedback and a report on your work and your performance. Now, it's expected that employers pay you a minimum of 100,000 naira, inclusive of taxes. Now, this is the benchmark for us, and we don't compromise on our interns being able to them being paid this amount of money. Some employers may take it up, some may not, but the minimum you can get is 100,000 naira through our internship program from your employers. Just to speak a little more about the alumni network. Now, with the alumni network, just in case you're wondering, why should I even continue? This network fosters connectivity and exposes you to opportunities, job opportunities, even after you have completed an internship program. Remember, your internship program is for 6 months. And while some people get lucky where they get retained, some employers have been impressed by the performance of the interns so much they decided to retain them and provide employment opportunities for them in the organizations. Some people don't get that opportunity, and it may not be because they are literally bad people. It's just opportunity did not come up. What we try to do as YOE administrators is to continue to seek opportunities for our alumni to thrive and to get employed. And so it's important that you stay connected, okay? I'm going to brush through our impact so far, just so you see how far we have come since we started. Now, we have recruited actually 4 cohorts now. We have our 4 cohorts that are currently being placed. And we've been able to impact over 1,000 people since we started. You know, 2021 was when this idea came about, and it was, you know, still in its design phase. 2022, we actively started to recruit interns from cohort 1, cohort 2 to cohort 3. So our numbers have grown significantly over the past few years. Now, the box in green, you know, you'd see are the total number of sign-ups we've received. That is those that showed interest in the program. They were either qualified, they were either not qualified. That's a combination of it. But you see those in the yellow box shows people who have been admitted actually. And this just goes to show you how rigorous the assessment is, okay? Shows you how brain tasking it is. And so this is something that you definitely want to put at the back of your mind and prepare towards if you're serious about this program. You might be wondering, who are the employers that Joy talks about? Who are the people that they partner with? Now, these are just a few of the people, companies that we placed our interns in or work collaboratively with. We've placed our interns in a majority of these institutions: Access Bank, AIG, Mokede Foundation, Chapel Hill Denham, it's Compliance Professionals, it's Correlation, CSTS, Custodian, you know, Enterprises Nigeria. We also take interns. There's DLM, there's FBN Quest, Fiduciary Group, First Ally, First Bank, FMDQ, Imperial Assets Management Limited, Investment One, Meristem, NGX, Polaris Bank, PwC, Saro Africa, Triumph, Veraki, Wema Bank, Woven, Banwani Godalo, Greenwich, Alukwanye Bode, Lotus, etc. So these are partners who have over time, some have taken interns, some haven't. but they are members of organization. And sometimes not all of them take interns at once in one cohort. Some people decide to take in some people decide not to. Also, interns don't particularly determine where they want to be placed. For the most part, the way that our relationship works with our employers is that they let us know their needs. They let us know what they require from us as far as skill is concerned or their background is concerned. So for instance, an Access Bank could come and say, hey, I want 5 people who have tech skill, who have digital marketing skill, who have finance skill. And based on that, we do the matching. So the matching is not done randomly or spontaneously. It is done very intentionally to meet our stakeholder expectation. So you don't have a say on where you will be placed. What we've also tried to do is to ensure that your placement is not far from your location. We want to ensure that you are saving cost as much as possible, and that we are removing barriers, all the many different barriers that could hinder your ability to actually work and get, green start your career. And so access is very important. That's one of the things that we advocate for. And so which is why you would see that typically in some of these organizations like the banks that have branches in different states, you would most likely not be asked to travel to another state to work, unless for certain organizations where they only have one branch, which is in Lagos, in whatever case, and we rarely have those cases where people have to travel, although that has happened. But what we like to advocate for is employment that is accessible to you and closer to you. Okay. Now, some of our alumni have gone ahead and are doing amazing work that we are so proud of them. I just thought to share some of the things that they had to say about the work that we're doing. So if you see, if you can see my screen, you see Boluwatife, who interned at Chapel Hill Denham, one of the top wealth management companies in Nigeria. You see, she says she works as a researcher. So she says securing employment at Chapel Hill Denham, especially as a recent graduate, is difficult. Very true. But while we opened the door for me, I believe that the experience I gained during the internship program contributed to my acceptance into their management development program, right? So now, this is everything she said truly reflects, what I have said before. Many of these employers have built trust in our program, and as a result, that has been able to bridge gaps for a lot of young talents who may not have ordinarily been able to access certain types of opportunities. Okay, so our program is that platform that connects you to the job of your dreams. I'm going to read up Daniel, who interned at Coronation Merchant Bank. He worked as a trade financial analyst, and he says, the privileges this program afforded me already contributed to my many successes. First, I was posted to my desired graduation, and while only stopped, but ensured all interns were better engaged, mentored, and trained in their respective roles. I was retained at my organization and offered a permanent role. Now, this is just one of those exceptional cases, who, of course, must have gone there and proven himself, given his employers a reason to think about the possibility of him being retained, demonstrated, I'm sure, exceptional leadership skill, and got himself a permanent job from an internship opportunity. So what this also speaks to tells you about the possibilities, that come as a result of this program. Like I said, some people get lucky, some people get another opportunity outside of the network. What is most important is that you are positioning yourself and getting yourself acquainted with the workplace, with real life work experiences, and building meaningful network that also helps your next opportunity. Zuliat also, we can see, worked at Enterprise Nigeria, a researcher. So you see Zuliat is based in the north, but she was able to work remotely. And I think this also just goes to show that our program is national. It's not we try to make it national as much as possible, and it's not just limited to a certain geographical location. Micah, on the other hand, lived in Kaduna He interned at Access Bank there, and he worked as an internship trainee. Now, he finished his internship program, has been able to get another role almost immediately. Met him recently. He came over to the office. He was just really pleased about his experience with YOE and was able to give some testimonials, and we're just very proud of the work that they do, proud of how they've been able to leverage this experience for themselves. One of the things that getting a job does is it really helps boost a lot of your morale. It does boost your morale, and it does also even affect your economic capacity. That's the truth. Some people who are on this call, you might just become the breadwinner of your family for some reason. I'm sure that you probably have some breadwinners, and it takes one who has a job, it takes one who is able to at least get their leg in the door of work to be able to do that. So yes, getting a job is good for many reasons. It allows you to be able to support your family, allows you to be able to support yourself, allows you to be able to build skill, allows you to be able to chart your next path. Okay, so there are many, many reasons why it's important for you to continue to stay ambitious, continue to find opportunities that really positions you for success. And the Youth of Enterprise Internship Program is that path. It is that bridge that allows you to be able to achieve that goal. I see a lot of hands up. A lot of hands were up when I asked if you were seeking opportunities, and quite a number of you raised up your hands. So you are at the right place. Now, count yourself lucky that you're hearing this because application for our cohort 5 cohort, our 5th cohort rather, has opened, and there is no better time than to go and apply right now. So if you see my screen, clearly you'd see a barcode. What you want to do is scan. You get a link that takes you straight to our website, and there you can begin your journey to becoming a YOE intern. Okay, I'm going to leave this here for a few minutes, so that you can do the work that you need to do. Okay, how many of us are scanning? Most of us are using our phone, so we can't even scan. I'm going to ask my colleagues to please put the link in the chat so that you can click on it, and that should take you to the website where you can begin your application journey. You can also follow us on social media. We are very active on social media. This is where you get recent updates on what is going on. You also even get to see many more testimonials and events that have happened with the program. So please follow us. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on X. We are also on LinkedIn, okay? Please ensure that you follow us and like our pictures or content. So that will be it for now. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm so happy that I was able to stick to an hour, with this presentation. At this point, I'm going to take a pause and see if there are questions. Please, I am here to take all of the questions that you might have. Let's make use of this opportunity, and thank you very much for listening. If there are questions, please let me know. Okay, I see a few hands up. I see a few hands up. Let me see. Success Mwakba, do you want to please unmute your mic and ask your question? Okay, I see a few questions in the chat as well. Somebody's asking. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure which do I take the questions in the chat, or do I take the questions in, ask them live? Okay, I think I'm going to just look at the chats and take them. Faith, can you help me please with the questions? I'd appreciate your help with pulling that out. that I can respond to them. Is Faith still here? Or Toba, please help with that if Faith is not here. Can anybody hear me?
Yes. So, I see a few questions, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello, Joy.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, someone is asking for the availability of the program for undergraduates.
Okay. So YOE, do you want to complete your sentence before I
actually that covers for quite a number of people. I'm seeing about 3 or 4 of that.
Okay. Okay, so the YOE program is majorly for graduates, not undergraduates. Okay, so if you're an undergraduate who is on this call, this program is not ideal for you right now. What you have to do is wait, finish, complete your undergraduate degree, complete NYSC, and then you would stand a chance. Now, it's important to know that we also are we're working collaboratively with our employers. Our employers want graduates, not undergraduates. We do not have an internship program for undergrads, but pending the time we do, this is what we have, for now. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Another question is for core members. Can a current core member apply?
A current core member, that would depend on how far gone you are with your NYSC. If you are close to wrapping up, if your POP is going to happen towards the time when you're going to be placed, for instance, or is happening at the point where you are where you are applying, of course that's possible. You can start and you can start the process, but you have to ensure that you are almost wrapping up with NYSC. Okay, that is what that is dependent on. If you have just started NYSC, you have about a year to finish, 9 months, you may not be eligible. So this is very selective, and it's just for those who are halfway gone with their program. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Joy. There's a question. I am 29 years old and also ACA, but no experience. Can I still apply?
Okay, if you followed me from the conversation early on, I had listed out the eligibility criteria for people who this program, who are eligible to apply for this program. And one of the things I said is that they have to be between the ages of 18 to 26. You can count this as just one of the graduate trainee type programs, which has, its own criteria. So 20 is too old for our own program, for our work. Our employers would not, even if we wanted to, employers would not want that. So we would only limit that to the age that is acceptable in this case, with our employers' needs. So yeah.
Okay. I think the only question here, or the only request here that is a little bit different from others that have been responded to is, can we get a document that contains all the information we just got so we can go through it again? But I think the website might just be, yeah, but that's the question.
Yeah, so to learn more about our work, we have already introduced you to where you can find a lot of this information. You have the website there, you can go read up and learn. follow us on social media, you would also be able to gain access to our work. You get more insights to our work. Check out YouTube. We have some resources there that you can acquaint yourself with. So that should actually be helpful. But it's important to know that at the point of your application, if you're one of those who are eligible, you would also still get some sort of resource that helps your application process, like the document that you need to have, like how you need to prepare for your application. So that's something that you would have at the point where you are applying and when you're eligible or if you're eligible.
Okay, thank you, Joy. So the question here is saying, is NYSC certificate required? Yes, of course. You've answered that. So I just signed up on the website. What next, Ma? So after signing up, what next? Your microphone is muted. Do you want me to attend to that?
Yeah, please, you can attend to that, just about.
Okay, good. So after signing up and you've put in all the biodata required and so on, you need to take your pre-test. Afterwards, then you wait a bit for us to announce when the GAT will be up. It's just as smooth as that. Once you've submitted your application, the proper way following, after signing up, of course, you verified your email and the criteria that are the eligibility criteria, able to scale through that. Then you take the pre-test. It's just right there on your personalized dashboard. Afterwards, you'll be informed when the GAT session is open. That's pretty much what you need to do for now. Another question says, for someone almost done with NYSC, the certificate might not be ready yet. What can such a person do? I think she responded to that. So it's dependent on when your POP is, right? If you're not going to be done in the next 3 months, you might have to wait for the next cohort. But if your NYSC will be done by the time, right, you're sure that you'll be passing out of your NYSC program around that time, of course. Kickstart the process, and we have ways to go around that. Then another question, and I think Joy would be glad to really respond to this. Do you have a community to mentor undergraduates pending the time we will be qualified for the opportunities? Oh, you're still muted, Joy.
Sorry about that. That's a good question, actually, and that's something that we are keeping our fingers crossed for. One of the things that we're hoping to do is to not just provide or create programs that caters to graduates alone. We also want to be able to cultivate talent even from when they are in the universities. We don't have anything concrete or established yet, but best believe that it's in the pipeline and we're working towards that. So yeah, really good question.
Thank you. That's pretty much the question we have for now. And I've posted the link both to the website and the application phase to in the chat section. So if you want to read up, I'll do that just again. If you want to read up, if you want to apply, the link is right here in the chat session. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Toba, for helping with the questions. If there are no other questions, I'd like to actually say a very big thank you to every one of you. Oh, are there more questions? I see some hands still being raised. Success,
Inshallah. From scratch.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm just going to then conclude and say thank you very much to each one of you for your time on a Saturday afternoon. This largely shows your level of desire and just ambition for wanting more out of your life. And I truly wish you all the very best of luck. Someone says it's painful that she is not I don't know if it's a she or he, but I'm not sure why, you don't qualify. But let's believe that this is not even the end of the road. If you're one of those who don't meet up with the age requirements, perhaps you're too young, you haven't completed university, you still have time. So there's no need to rush. You still have time. If you've passed the age, I'm sorry, really sorry about that. Unfortunately, these are just very strict policies that we don't have a choice but to adhere to, because we cannot possibly employ all of you by ourselves. We need companies, and those companies also have their own policies that we have to align, our program with. So, but nonetheless, I think that what's important is that you have the ambition and the zeal to want more for yourself. And I think that's the starting point for success, is having the mindset to want to succeed and doing what is needed. So I truly wish all of you the best of luck. And I have to say a very big thank you to George and the leadership of FBP for the invitation and reaching out. We're very happy to have more of this conversation with your people, with your community as the need arises. Like I said before, even though you don't meet up with the criteria, you probably know people who do. You want to share, you want to pass the message on to those who you consider eligible, or you think this opportunity is what they need. Don't be stingy with information. Information is literally like the one thing that's separates us from our next big opportunity. So please share. Thank you to my team members who have been very helpful in facilitating this as well. I wish us all a really restful weekend as much as possible. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.